Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of my Career Mode series. We are starting up our second season with Swansea. Last season, I think, was pretty successful. We placed 6th in the Premier League, which was better than, I believe, 10th place that they placed last year. We made it to the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, and we also qualified for the Europa League, or the Euro League that they call it here. And so we are going to look at the expectations that we have for the season. We are again expected to finish mid-table, but unlike last season, we have quite a bit of our transfer budget. We have 22.5 million, and I believe that we can bring in some very, very quality players and some good young players for that price. We're going to be taking part in the EuroLeague, like I said before, and we are expected to reach the quarterfinal of that competition. But now we are going to take a look at our youth squad, and we have two players right now. Francois Arnoline, who is a goalkeeper, looking very, very nice, and then Guillaume Palomat, who is a central defensive mid, also looking very quality. But one of the areas that we struggled last year was in our central defense. We had Okore, who is probably going to be an elite center back, but we didn't have anyone else to partner up with him, and I think that Juan Jesus is that man, and so we're going to put in a £5 million offer for him and see how that goes. Another player I was looking at was a suggestion from one of you guys, Tom Carroll. He plays for Spurs. Apparently, he turns out to be a very solid center mid. So I throw Spurs a £2.5 million offer and send that off. Hopefully, they get back to us pretty quickly, and we know if we get Tom Carroll or not. Another way to get really cheap and really young players with a lot of potential is through the free agency system, and one of those players we were looking at was Tom Roberts. He's already worth £1.1 million, but all we have to pay is his wages, and that's why it's a great way to get these players on the cheap. We're only going to have to pay £2,000 in wages, give him a 4-year contract, and send that off. Only 17 years old, tons of potential. But we have an offer for Jesse Rodriguez from Bolton, £6.5 million. Are they crazy? There's no way that we're going to give up the Golden Boot winner of last season for that price, or any price really. But we also get a message from Inter Milan basically saying that we're not going to get their young Brazilian center back for anything less than £10.5 million. But hopefully we can get that money through the sale of Nathan Dyer. He's a player that did really well for us last year, but he's kind of nearing his peak at 25 years old, and so it wouldn't be a bad idea to offload him for an outrageous price to one of these teams that were willing to pay that. But we're going to take a look back at our offer for Juan Jesus, up that a little bit. I really don't want to pay $10.5 million for him if I can get him for a little bit less, so we're going to send an £8 million offer off and see how that goes. But we have some good news. Our young Welshman Tom Roberts has decided to accept our transfer offer, so we are going to bring him into the squad. Welcome to Swans, Tom Roberts, and another Tom Carroll. We have to up our offer for him a tiny bit, $3.5 million. Really not a big deal. But Marseille say they are unable to pay the $16.5 million price tag that we put on Nathan Dyer, and they are only willing to spend $9.5 million, I think it was. So we're going to bring it down a little bit and see what they say back to that. And once again, Inter Milan says that they are not willing to part with Juan Jesus for anything less than $10.5 million. And so we're going to up it to $10 million just to be combative. See if they accept that and send that on its way. But we have some more transfer offers, this time again for Nathan Dyer. He is a man in demand, so we're going to up that to $16.8 million and see what Sevilla say back to us about that. And we also have an offer from Aston Villa for Neil Taylor, a player that we didn't use hardly at all last season, and so really anything that we can get for him, $2 million, is what we're going to accept, and he is off to Aston Villa. Once again, Marseille say they are not willing to pay that much for Nathan Dyer, so I say you're not willing to take Nathan Dyer off of our hands, and I reject their offer. But that is of no consequence because Real Madrid come in with an offer for Dyer, and my way of thinking is they have an absurd amount of money, so we're going to up this to an absolutely absurd amount, $18 million for Nathan Dyer. We're going to send that on its way and see what they say back. Neil Taylor is off to Aston Villa, as we said before, and Real Madrid come back and say we can't pay 18, but we can pay 15. Still an absolutely ridiculous amount, so I'm going to up it just a little bit more to 16.8, what we offered him to Marseille for, and see what they say about that. Hopefully they come back and say, you know what, we will give you that $18.6 million. And Tom Carroll, we need a little bit more money to get him to our squad. $4.5 million is what we're going to send back. and our offer for Juan Jesus is accepted. That is great news. So we go off to his contract offer. He wants £30,000 a week, 4-year contract, and I'm also going to give him that crucial first team player tag, and hopefully that brings him on over to Swansea. But we have another transfer offer, this time for Ashley Williams, our captain and center back, and if we have Juan Jesus in the squad, I don't see why we couldn't get rid of Ashley Williams. He is a mediocre center back, 28 years old, and so really if we can get any kind of money for him, that would be a great plan, and maybe bring in another really young and really promising player. But our offer for Nathan Dyer has been accepted by Real Madrid, £16.8 million. That almost doubles our transfer budget. But we have another scouting report, this time from America, and we have a really promising looking player, Sam Gordon, a 78 to 94 potential. So I'm going to go ahead and sign him, scoop him up, and see how he develops in the youth squad. And here we go, more good news for Swans. Spurs have accepted our offer for Tom Carroll. So we are going to offer him £10,000 a week, important first team player for 4 years, and hopefully that brings him into our squad. Hopefully he doesn't turn that down. But we also have an offer for Ashley Williams, our captain of last season, and a center back, a mediocre center back at best. He's 77 overall, 28 years old, and so he's really not going to develop anymore, so I wouldn't mind getting him off of our books. But Juan Jesus has declined our contract offer, and that is bad news. When they say they don't want to relocate, you have to throw a massive amount of money their way in order to get them into your squad, but I'm kind of willing to send him that kind of money. We have a huge wage budget, and so a little bit extra on his wages really won't hurt. Ashley Williams, we're going to counter offer that with $3.4 million. They weren't willing to pay the original sum that we sent their way. And then also Tom Carroll doesn't want to relocate from London, so we're going to have to give him a little bit more money on his wages as well. But once again, he is a promising young player, and so a little bit more on his wages really won't kill us. And then Juan Jesus, he says that he wants a little bit more, doesn't want to relocate again, and so we're going to up it to $40,000 a week, 4 years, again, a crucial first team player, and see how he likes that. But in other news, so Show come back and say that they don't want Ashley Williams for that price, and I really can't blame them. And then Tom Carroll comes back again saying that he doesn't really want to move, but he could be persuaded. And so we're going to give him that crucial first team player tag. Hopefully that brings him into our squad and he stops fighting the inevitable. But Mascherano signs for Chelsea, a pretty good signing. I think he's an overrated player, but on the game he is quite formidable. Juan Jesus comes back again and tells us that he doesn't want to move, and so we're going to have to up it a little bit more. This time we bump it up to $45,000 a week, a 10% clean sheet bonus, a 4-year contract once again, and once again a crucial first team player tag. And this is a great contract, so hopefully he comes back and says, you know what, with that kind of contract, I'm willing to come to this up-and-coming Swansea side. And finally, Tom Carroll stops fighting us and he accepts our contract offer, so he is on his way to Swansea, and so is Juan Jesus. He follows suit. And after a little bit of negotiation, we bring in 2 very young and very promising players. So the future is looking bright for this Swans team. And our first game of the preseason is against Juventus, a very tough team to play against. And we grabbed the first goal in the 10th minute through Jesse Rodriguez. But we would not maintain that lead for very long, and Chiellini would score in the 16th minute, and then Asamoah would score in the 84th to give them that 2-1 victory in our very first game of this preseason. Not exactly a great start, but hopefully we can rebound against Parma. And I decided to play this game really just to give you guys some gameplay in this episode, because it is all transfers, and I know that some people really like to watch transfer negotiations, but a lot of you really do like to watch gameplay, and so I thought I'd give a little bit of both. But this is the only preseason game that I played. But luckily for us, we would get off of the mark pretty quickly, and Jose Rodriguez, the forgotten J-Rod, will just roll this into the bottom corner to give us our first goal of the game in the 3rd minute. Hopefully he can stand up and make this his breakout season, but after a noob goalkeeping mistake from me, we were in trouble. Arreola does well to keep out that first effort, but he is not so lucky on the rebound, and they level it up in the 28th minute, and that is how we would go into halftime, level at 1-1. But after the restart, our defenders are caught twiddling their thumbs, and they are able to pull ahead in the 63rd minute. But things would go from bad to worse when Joris Okore fails to close his man down, and he is able to fire into the bottom corner in the 78th minute, But this Swan side were not done fighting, and Tom Roberts, our 17-year-old Welshman, fires that for his first goal of his Swansea career in the 86th minute. But Parma were not done punishing us, and an almost carbon copy of their second goal goes in the 90th minute, and that is how this game would end. We are humiliated by a mid-table Italian team. 4-2 goes to Parma. But we have some good news in the form of a Youth Squad monthly report. I'm really excited to always look at these. David Shea looks okay, but Francois Arnoline, 85 to 91 potential. He's 6'8" tall. I mean, I think he is going to be our first choice keeper within the next 2 seasons. And Sam Gordon, 83 to 94 potential. He looks also like a very, very promising young player. But as we bring in all of these young, promising players, we also have to offload some of the dead wood. And I don't think I played Leroy Lita in one game last season, so we are going to transfer list him. Also, Rory Donnelly, we are going to put him off for a season-long loan, only 21 years old, but we are not going to use him. The same goes for Lee Lucas. Put him onto a season-long loan. Jamie Proctor, 21 years old, but doesn't look a day younger than 45. And then Guion Edwards, I think is how you say his first name. I've never seen anyone named Guion before. We're also going to put him on the loan list. But next up, we have a game against Atalanta, and I'm going to sim this. I think they are the first team that we played on this career mode series, and we got pretty soundly beaten. So hopefully we can get the win from this game. Denis, I remember, just completely raped us. But Wayne Routledge gets the first goal in the 23rd minute. He is hoping to prove his worth to the manager, hopefully get some more game time this season. But of course, Denis gets a goal in the 77th minute to pull them level, and this game would end level 1-all. Not a bad result against Atalanta that I think beat us by 2 or 3 goals last time that we played, so there is some market improvement. The press comes out and says that Jose Rodriguez was the surprise package of this preseason, and I have to tend to agree, and Juan Jesus was off to a slow start. Hopefully he improves pretty soon, but that is where this episode will end, guys. A like or a subscription is always appreciated. And also, if you could, guys, like my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter. That will be a huge help. I'll put when I'm posting episodes and things of that sort. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next episode. All right, bye.